Hey, what's going on, world? This is Queen Aishah, and thank you once again for joining me for another dope episode of I Know Dope People. And we're going to get started. Our guests today are from the New 10th Foundation here in Atlanta, Georgia, Miss Philana Swann and Marcus A. Turner. But before we bring our guests on, I'm going to go over some Queens quickies. And of course, it's still Women's History Month, so we're going to honor someone, a lady, a woman today. So for Queen's Quickies, I'm not sure if you all checked out the Oscars. I did not, but of course, we heard all of the rumbling about Angela Bassett losing to Jamie Lee Curtis. And she was nominated for supporting actress in Black Panther, Wakanda Forever. Okay. They said the streets was talking. They said that Angela's face was quite tight as she remained seated and didn't immediately smile or clap for Jamie's Oscar win. What are your thoughts on that? Maybe she was kind of devastated. I'm not sure. Her husband looked more devastated than she does. And actors Michael B. Jordan and Jonathan Majors shouted her out. Hey, auntie, if you all remember the line that Michael B. Jordan's character said in the first Black Panther movie, just to kind of give us support and a hug. That they did that as they presented the best cinematography category on the Oscars. And Megan Thee Stallion called her sister, cousin, friend Beyonce for some Renaissance tour tickets. I guess she's not able to buy them. Is it all sold out? I haven't really been following it, but I ain't mad at her. Call in all of your favors, honey. Call in all of your favors. Going to the Renaissance concert, I understand it's going to cost you about 5 months of a mortgage payment, but do what you do, people. Do what you do. And as I stated, it is still Women's History Month. So this week we are shining a light and honoring Betsy Coleman. Betsy Coleman became the first African-American woman to earn her pilot's license on June 15, 1921. In the 1920s, getting a pilot's license as a Black woman in the United States was impossible, so Coleman moved to France to get her flying certificate. After earning her license, Coleman returned back to Chicago and got a job as a barnstorming pilot, performing stunts at aviation shows. On April 30th, 1926, Coleman and her mechanic went up to practice a flight before a performance, and the plane crashed and they both were killed. Betsy Coleman was 34 years old. Thank you, Betsy Coleman, for your vision and determination. So today, as I stated, our guests are from the New 10th Foundation here in Atlanta, Georgia. And let me tell you about how this happened. So Philana Swann we have a mutual friend in common. And Martita, a friend of ours, she sent me a message a month or so ago. And she asked me if I was available for March 18th to do a show. And I was like, yes. So she said, okay, I'm going to give my friend your information. I said, okay. So I hadn't heard from anybody. So I reached out to Martita. I said, I didn't hear from anybody. So she was like, well, let me just check in. So when Philana gave me a call, it was like maybe 10 o'clock one morning. I was out running errands. And we just hit it off. And she started telling me about the event, anything that has to do with the youth. Normally, I'm like, I'm on it, So we made it happen. And I'm so honored to host their event today. It is a sold out event at Del Frisco's in Dunwoody, Georgia. They're having a silent auction, but check this out. The name of it is called Nights Over Egypt because the children are going to Egypt, Africa in June of this year. So we are raising money. Again, it's a silent auction. You can purchase tickets. You can make donations if you're not able to come, if because it's sold out. But we can always take the money you were going to use to buy your ticket. We are very open. We're very open and appreciative to that. So let me give you some information about Miss Philana Swann. She is the co-founder and executive director of the organization, again, the New 10 Foundation here in Atlanta, Georgia. It was founded May of 2020. Philana is determined and passionate about helping the next generation of young boys and girls to find their path, especially in ed tech and STEM. And Marcus A. Turner is the board chairman and CEO of the New 10 Foundation. He initially founded and you can correct me if I say this wrong, Cogetto Capital Group LLC in 2009 in the basement of his home, which later evolved into Limitless Capital Management. Marcus, he deal with the money. Marcus is active in various charitable endeavors. He is a collegiate athlete. He went to Providence College, played basketball in 1989 to 1993. And I just want to tell you that he has lived around the world. And I want to know if Mr. Turner can speak all of these languages because he has lived professionally playing ball in Europe. He lived in Italy, France, Austria, Finland, Russia, and Spain. He is the author of 5 books. So you call yourself a Christian? Really? The Limitless Approach, Black Doors, Slaves on Horses, Prince on Foot, and the latest one is called Intrinsic Value. Please welcome the co-founders of the New 10th Foundation in Atlanta, Georgia. Welcome, 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 welcome. And thank you so much for joining us this morning as you all are preparing for your phenomenal event later this evening. How are you? How are you, Philana and Marcus? How are y'all doing?
Awesome.
Hello. We're doing well. We hope you are.
I am. And I think y'all normally get up this early.
Absolutely.
Yes, we do.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for joining us. So let's get started and tell us about the New 10 Foundation and how that name came about. Because y'all had me doing research. I had to go do a refresher. Okay. Tell us about the New 10 Foundation.
All right. So the name, starting with the name, is a derivative of one of my favorite books that I read when I was a very young man. It's by W.E. Du Bois called The Talented 10th. Mm-hmm. And The Talented 10th is a book that talks about the African American after we gained our freedom. And they begin to talk about how to educate the African American in order to make him a productive citizen within the United States of America. So what basically happened is that it became an argument between W.E. Du Bois and Booker T. Washington. Mm-hmm. They had an argument that took place in Atlanta at the Atlanta Compromise in the 1920s. In that discourse, they both had opposite sides of an argument. One believed that the best and the brightest, 1 out of 10, in each family had some special gift and talent. Because they had that special gift and talent, they believed that most of the resources, at least W.E. Du Bois believed that most of the resources should go towards that particular kid. Booker T. Washington had a different approach. His approach was that every human being had something productive to add. And if they wasn't extremely bright or they wasn't the most gifted, they could become entrepreneurs and therefore giving back to the community. So we thought that both of the ideas was very feasible. And so we wanted to put the ideas together in order to tackle some of the ailments of our community by saying that we was going to create a new 10th, a type of hybrid of both. Because within our country, we often see that the best and the brightest do not really work with the entrepreneurs. And most times you see the best and the brightest give their talents away to larger corporations instead of working with entrepreneurs within their own community. And so what we wanted to do is we wanted them to prepare them to use their science, technology, engineering, arts, and math skills in order to solve a community problem by creating an entrepreneurial solution. And so one of the things that I had found throughout my life was that it was so important for them to get outside of their comfort zone, get outside of the things that they are familiar with, and see things from a different point of view. I was blessed. I grew up on the south side of Atlanta in College Park off of Old National Highway. That's
College
Park, 099. And so I grew up there, but one of the amazing things was that, I'm 6'8", and I had a pretty good talent from playing ball. And so I had a means of escaping. And escaping took me into some different areas and getting around different people and learning how to interact and understanding how to talk their language and how to deal in certain circles. And then my professional career took me into Europe. So I got a chance to meet a great variety of different people. And it changed me. It converted me. It got me thinking differently. It got me seeing the world differently. It got me learning more about other cultures. And so it was very important because when me and Philana began to talk, we was talking about what did our kids need most and what were some of the things the schools was failing at. And not to just talk all day, but this is a subject I love very much, simply because I came from I don't want to say a difficult background, but my parents worked very hard. I came from we was kind of a latchkey family, so they went to work and we had to take care of ourselves. And because we was first generation middle class. And so when you start to see these other communities and their kids doing extraordinary things because they have the freedom, they don't have to worry about necessarily the money part. You start thinking in terms of what would generational wealth mean to African Americans. And so the thing of it is, when you understand the numbers, right? For every 188,000 that a white family has, we have 24,000. And most of this is created through home ownership. So if you know what happened in 2008, where we lost nearly 60% of our homes, what happens in 2020 when we lost nearly 50% of our businesses, then you start saying that we're in trouble. In 1968, we had about 1% of all of American wealth. Right now, we're slightly better than that, but we are regressing very quickly right now, simply because of what's going on economy-wise.
Yes.
And so you start to see it's very little growth there. And so what we wanted to do was tackle that issue. And I'm going to shut up now and let Philana talk a little bit.
I was like, he's giving a lecture. But it's great information. And because those that are not aware and don't know of the talented 10th and everything you shared about our wealth and all that you shared, they now know.
Yes, just too much. But go ahead.
Yes,
Philana.
so Philana.
No.
So tell us about Philana Swann from North Carolina.
Philana Swann was born and raised in a very small town in Reedsville, North Carolina. I knew Martita growing up too. And so I have had a strong passion, always had a strong desire to work with young kids. I have 3 daughters myself, and I always and experienced a few adversities growing up, but I overcame them. And so in that, wanted to be able to be an example to not only my daughters, but all those kids that I would come in contact with. Along this journey, I had the opportunity to meet Mr. Turner, as he said, and we were talking about how we could advocate for our young men and women. I was a strong advocate for young girls, and we know that there was underrepresentation in the area of STEAM for girls, and it was just me. I wanted to advocate for them. I wanted to, open those doors and be that catalyst that will be able to open the door and allow them to come in to do some great things. And so in my conversations with Mr. Turner, I was introduced to Mr. Turner. In my conversations with him, he showed me a different perspective as it relates to the underrepresentation, because there's underrepresentation for both boys and girls. And so I had to change my way of thinking. And in doing that, we had these long talks, and we joined forces, which I feel like it has been amazing. I have been under his leadership and been a mentee to him. And as we've been going on this journey, there were 3 problems that we know that is taking place with our kids. We know that there's an economic wealth gap. We know that our brown and black kids are underrepresented in the area of STEAM. And we also know that there's a flaw in our educational system. Well, or I'll say some loopholes. And so as we're going on this journey, to be able to solve these problems, we were looking at the programming and things that we're offering our kids. And those programs are involved or centered around STEAM, financial literacy, entrepreneurship, and humanities. So in doing that, in our mission, we want to be able to enlighten and educate the hearts and minds of our young boys and girls, building their skill of hand without fear, unless the adult or child mistake the means of limits for the object of life. So by introducing our kids to STEAM occupations, professions, and experiences, we're teaching them how to align it with an entrepreneur mindset, and it's built on a foundation of financial literacy. So not only are they solving problems in the community, but they're solving problems in a way where it becomes profitable for them. So these are the areas that we're touching on. I know you asked me a lot about myself. I'm just a country girl from North Carolina that wants to make a difference in the lives of our youth. And I believe that if I say that want to be a mentor and help change their lives, I have to be that example. And so that's what I strive to do each and every day with them.
Thank you. Thank you. Very awesome information. I think that is very powerful for both of you all, noble for both of you all to want to tap into our youth, because when people don't understand, when you say the youth are our future, like, do you really understand? They are our future. So if they are falling behind in any way, that's a loss to all of us. So I think that is great. I think it's really great. So let me ask you this question. So the new 10th, how does someone, a youth, a student get involved? How are they chosen to be part of the organization? Am I too old to be in the organization? Am I too old to be a new 10th-alike STEAM person?
No one, listen, if you're down for the cause, you are not too old, okay? Anyone that has an invested interest in helping
now,
us.
I could be a youth. I just want to know if I could be one of the students.
You could be a student too. Yes. So we do have a application process where our kids will go, you will go online and you will complete the application, but you will also submit an essay. And in submitting that essay, you would include if there's something in the world or in the community that you can change, what would it be and why? Because we are trying to make sure that we are developing them as leaders and entrepreneurs. So they have to be able to use their critical thinking skills, and they want to be able to think about the problems and the issues that are in the world and in their community. And so if they can think of those things, then we tap into that. And through our programming, we began to cultivate and work towards those issues that are taking place in our community. And we do that by bringing other people in. We bring other professionals in that have that invested interest with them. Mr. Turner, if you want to chime in, feel free to chime in.
Yeah, so the whole goal is to get them into doors that normally would probably have been had them locked out, right? So we want to offer them a different opportunity. One of the issues is that I have with the current education system. I believe in education, but we have to create problem solvers, and not people who just serve the economy, but people who truly serve the community. And so if we can, as a people, begin to show our kids the greatness that's on the inside of them, to get them to understand, I believe very much in God, and my life is a testament of what can take place if given the right opportunities. And so we want to pass that on. And so a lot of the projects and stuff that we work on real community problems. Last year, we had a cohort of kids where we was working on solving the problem of seniors forgetting their medication. So we brought in an engineer, we brought in an IP attorney. Right now we're working on getting some patents for the things that we're working on because they came up with a very viable solution. And so what we want to do is let them know what they can be and what they can accomplish, despite the narratives that come at them from so many different people, especially the global community. I believe from a global standpoint, it's very difficult to be an African-American male or female, and yet we are great, we are special, right? We are gifted, and we are really the backbone of this country. And so I don't want them begging. I want them to go take what they want in this world. I want them to know that they have the ability to change the trajectory. Now, not only their lives, but their community as a whole. But we can't do it if we keep allowing others to define us, to tell us who we are and what we're capable of and what we can accomplish. It can't happen that way. So I believe in us more than anything. And, you know, some of the books that I've written is really focused on letting them know who they are, trying to go through the lives and history and the characters that has been created of us. And to be able to get them to understand that if they stand up and who they really are, right, it's nothing that they cannot accomplish. And so we big on that. And so because of that, we want to do big things for our kids, right? So we take elaborate trips. We teach in elaborate places. We bring in people at the top of the industry, right? Because we want them to know that we love them that much, they deserve that.
That's right.
My office is in downtown Buckhead. We're in One Buckhead Plaza, one of the nicest buildings.
I'm coming to visit. I'm coming to visit.
Yes, you can
Y'all
come
got
visit.
that rich water. That water, you drink it different with your pinky up like you in England drinking tea. I'm coming.
But we hold our meetings here. We bring them here, right? So that they can see. We even bring them upstairs so they can look over the city, so they can see, they can breathe it in. Because that's what changed me.
That's
seeing
right.
something different, going places and seeing that there's opportunity out there that maybe the people around me don't know about. Maybe the teachers who taught me didn't know because nobody showed them. And so that's really the goal of the program.
Yes.
And to the point, and I know I'm a bit long-winded here, but I care so much about this simply because I know I had a special gift that showed up at an early age. But I often think about the kids who don't have that particular opportunity. How do we affect them? Because a lot of people say to me, like, why don't you work with basketball players? I do, but I want to affect the masses. I want to get that kid who people are looking over, who they do not understand the value of who they are. That it's not with your body parts, it's up here. My goal was always
pause right there about the body part. Pause, please.
right. My goal was always
Because if one more
to
person
make
take
more.
their clothes off.
There you go. And again, the value is internal. And so we want anybody and everybody, don't hesitate to reach out to us. You can reach out to us at info@thenewtenfoundation.org. We have several events. We have a summer camp coming right after we get back from Egypt. We have a 9-month program that we run annually. We meet twice a month. We have an online meeting once a month. And we try to plug in with the kids. We try to make sure that we provide options and mentors. We also have people who have came through the program that's currently in college who often come back to volunteer because we don't want them to ever leave. We want to build a community where that when it's the next one up, we'll have an opportunity to put them with somebody. We visited a couple colleges, and there we have students that's there. And so those students can come and talk to the kids that's in the program. So it's all about really building out something that we believe will be very special.
Yes, and you made some very valid points. You know, your gifts and talents make room for you and open doors for you. And me being a comedian, I've gotten the opportunity to travel. I think I've touched 4 continents. It just and I in 11th grade, I was attending Nairi Educational Institute, was a black school that makes you aware. That's how I learned about the talented tenth, and I had to go back and do my research because brother Dunbar would raise up from his grave and be like, "You don't know this?" And Brother Dunbar created a program called the Dr. Martin Luther King Community Players, and we went around. We did speeches, oratorical contests. We visited Black colleges, and it showed us something different.
Right.
Before that, my mother always made us aware and just made sure we had culture and exposure to different things, going to Black film festivals. But she always brought someone from the community, one of our friends, with us, because she didn't want us to be in a community with others that did not have the opportunity. We just sharing experiences, but we about to get beat up because we might be bragging to them.
Exactly.
So she always allowed us to bring 1 or 2 friends. When I was in Job Corps and I came home, she would say, bring someone home if they don't have a home to go to. You know what I'm saying? Those types of things. So we have to stretch our arms out. We cannot just think about ourselves and our children, because we have to look at all of the children as our children. With that being said, I need to talk to y'all because I want to be a part. I want to do something with the students. Comedy, something. We're going to do something.
Absolutely.
So definitely. Anything to get on Buckhead upstairs to look over the city. So no,
you will have a call.
I definitely want to be, absolutely, I'm down with. I've done Big Brothers and Big Sisters, so I'm definitely interested. So, okay, so what is, so first of all, tell us the difference between STEAM and STEM. Are they both the same? And somebody added a letter.
Well, they are the same, but then the A is the arts. So we're so happy that you are saying that you would like to be a part, because there are different entities in the art. But yes, it's science, technology, engineer, art, and math. So we make sure that we touch on all of those disciplines. Well, for us, the math piece is considered the financial literacy, right? Because we want to be able to teach our kids about financial independence, right? Mm-hmm. And we want them to be able to understand what it means to live off of what they own and not what they earn. Yes. And so we get a lot of those teachings even from Limitless Capital Management, which is the company that Mr. Turner is the CEO of here. And so what better way than to be close up to it than to have your own CEO in the building teaching you about financial literacy and financial independence. So awesome. It's science, technology, engineering, art, and math.
Awesome. So, okay, so let's talk about Egypt. And first of all, let me know if y'all need a chaperone, because I got a passport and I have global entry. So just let me know. I can arrange. I'm ready. I stay on tap, lock. Let's go. Yes. So tell us about Egypt. Why Egypt this year? And I love that you say that you take them on elaborate trips, because that is so important. Go around the corner from your house, see something else, and you'll be able to make greater and better decisions because you have more to work with, right? So why Egypt? And do y'all know Egypt is in Africa?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Okay, because some people don't know. So that's hard.
Let me start. Because I spent a great deal of time in Europe, I traveled a lot and I vacationed a lot. So back in the early, say mid to late 90s, I initially went to Dubai. And we had a training camp there. So we was there 10 or 12 days, and we had a tournament that we played there. But we also flew over to play a team in Egypt, right? And again, and we also spent time in Israel. So I flew from Israel to Egypt. And in the Bible, it's 11 days journey that took like 40 years for the children of Israel to travel. The amazing thing, and I got to tell this story, I get on the plane, I have a book, I have my headphones on, because I'm thinking, nobody tells me, but like, we're going to Egypt, this is going to be a long trip. It was like a 35-minute flight because it's that close. But last year, we took the kids to the World STEAM Expo in Dubai. And so the next thing that we wanted to do, because we saw some fabulous museums and fabulous art pieces and stuff like that. And so we start discussing the Middle East and even Africa, and how do we start to get them in touch with the history. And even many of, we have many adults who come to a lot of our meetings, and we discuss a lot of the historical components of the foundation of Western culture or Western civilization. And a lot of people don't recognize how much came from the East or came from Egypt. So everything from dentistry to surgery to medicines to art to writing to building to architecture, all of these things are fruit of Egypt. Even Socrates says this is where he gained most of his information from. Does that make sense? And so when you realize that you're not only the original man and woman, that you also are the great creator. It's easy to, sometimes people don't understand that without the foundation, you have nothing. And so the Egyptian culture was the foundation of the power struggles and structures that we see today. And so it was initially created there. Even if you go back to biblical times, right? The first tax system was established by Joseph, right? He established the first tax system, and this began to be practiced all over the world. And so when you look at these things, you begin to tell these kids this, then they can see themselves now saying that, look, I can change the world. I can make a difference. I can be. And so we talk in terms of, and just like you mentioned math, right? I can care less about math. I care more about you knowing how to balance your checkbook, knowing how to buy a home and stay out of debt, right? I care more about you knowing something about the stock market, right? Because these are skills that are necessary to propel your future. Now, of course, you need to be able to add and subtract and divide. But when we get into advanced calculus and stats and whatever we want to look at, 95% of our kids will never use that information.
And it's so funny. It's funny because like my struggle was math, but as I started to use it in life, it came together quicker. Because a lot of trigonometry and why?
Right. Exactly.
So it's just it was to hold me back in life. It was to hold me back in my education. I knew it was a trick. It was a setup by the man. But no, you're absolutely right. When I started using it in real life, like you said, balancing your checkbook, going to the store, knowing that eggs used to be $2, now they $10. That's simple math, right? You know what I'm saying? So those things, and I think it's important. I think also with speaking of math and just a lot of life lessons, when we give it to the students in that way, in actual everyday life, they can tap in easier. Absolutely. Because sometimes if it's something that they fear, whether it's math, science, reading, history, they get so heady, they can't even get past because they're like overthinking it. Absolutely. They can't even stay in a moment. So I think that's very important for that approach. So Egypt was chosen because you went there and you had already checked out the land and said it was okay.
No, it was chosen because of the historical components and the baseline. Like,
that's true. We are the foundation.
Yeah. And so we just thought it would be an awesome thing to do. And because we chose Dubai primarily because of the World STEAM Expo. We wanted them to see other kids their age and where they fit, so they're not intimidated, right?
That's right.
And that they know they belong on the world stage, right?
That's right.
And so
they're ready.
They are ready. That was the next extension of that.
Yep. Thank you. So so you all have gone to Dubai. You're going to Egypt this year. Where else have you all traveled, taking the students?
We've taken them to Guatemala. We've taken them to Cuba. And so the whole goal was to make sure they are able to touch at least one country on each continent, understand what it means to be immersed in the culture. And I know we stayed over in Guatemala and Cuba for a minute, but then we've worked our way on over to Egypt and going to the motherland. So and we'll continue to just open their horizons and give them opportunities to explore, because we know, again, that does broaden their mindset. It allows them to have a deeper understanding of who they are. They're able to get a world perspective And it also even helps to improve their critical thinking skills while they're abroad, because
That's
you
right.
never know what takes place when you're
Mhm.
traveling, if you have to adjust. So those things I think are very important for them.
Awesome. So how many students are in the program, and how many students will be traveling?
We have 15 students right now that are actively in the program. So we have a cohort of 50. And so some of them do activities. They have other extracurricular activities. But we also, and we're taking 10 students with us this year.
Okay.
No, I'm sorry. 10 students with us this year, because we have some alumni that are coming back that are
Awesome.
traveling with us as well.
Beautiful.
And so I forgot your question. Please forgive
So
me.
you said how many? You said how many were going and how many are in the program.
Yes.
So how many chaperones are going?
Well, does that mean you want to be one of our chaperones?
I just want to make sure the kids are well taken care of
Listen.
and protected and get the attention that they need.
Yeah, this is the amazing thing, right? And it's funny to me because sometimes, you know, we will get ready to go and we're talking, and we have just as many parents who want to go, even sometimes more than the kids want to. You get me? And then they start saying, "Look, I need to go for me." So
Right.
often we might have 10 students, but we might have 20 people, 22 people, right? Because again, this is just something that in our community that's not really offered a lot. Does that make sense? And for me, like even West, like I have a minor in finance and I have a minor in philosophy. So I love all of the Western philosophers, but I also love a lot of the Eastern philosophers. Well, it is amazing that you start seeing people who get reintroduced to these things, or they'll be willing to have conversations. The next thing you know, you're talking about Kierkegaard, and they trying to figure out, like, how did we get here, right? Because they thought that part of their life was over. So we believe that it's important to bring not only kids together with grown-ups, but families together, right? And that was one of the conversations me and Philana had, because she had such a passion for girls, right? And I had a passion kind of for both, but I was also aware of the struggle, because I call Black men are actually at the tip of the spear, right? They're the one that, you know, people are killing first. And then you have such a, you know, I was raised by women pretty much, right? And because of that, it gave me, I believe, a little bit of a sensitivity towards the struggle overall, because when a young man sees his mom hurting, or he sees his mom going through changes and trying to figure out and watch her find a degree of happiness, that's a very powerful thing. And so in order for our community to heal, one of the things that we wanted to discuss and to make sure that we get across, that we wanted to show young people their ability to work together at young ages, so that they can have a deep ingrained respect for each other and for what they bring to the table. I think that's one of the problems that we have within our community as a whole, is this battle going on right now between male and female, as if it's not it's supposed to be oneness, and it's the struggle that's going on right now. And so what we want to do is get them focusing on not beating on each other. Let's face the problems that are really a threat within our community. Let's solve that instead of fighting each other.
That's very powerful. It's funny because my sister said I did a show about a month or so ago called Dating After Marriage. And my sister put in the chat, she said, I didn't even realize men and women had so many problems, you know, issues towards one another until social media.
Exactly.
You know, and believe it or not, a lot of these things have always existed. It's amplified now. And also because of the social media, people just be doing too much. Let's just say it like that.
Yeah.
But going back to like the parents wanting to go on the trip, it's funny because I would come home from school in high school, and I would tell my mother, I share information that I learned that day. And it would encourage her. I didn't know it. She just said it later on. Like I had her researching stuff, things she didn't know or she may have forgotten about. So it's so important. That's what conversation and communication with the family, because it's not just the parent teaching the child is also teaching the parent as well. Right. So that's how we have to stay open for those opportunities. So I think that's beautiful that those memories are being created to be able to travel the world and experience Egypt, your foundation, your roots
Right.
together.
Yeah.
And you know what else? The other thing is, I saw someone that put it in the chat too. These are things that are, you can teach some of this stuff in the classroom, but being there real time and being able to experience it live and full effect, that's a whole nother experience that you get. And you're limited in the information that you do receive in the classroom.
That's right.
So when you go to these places, you get more in-depth knowledge of the history that's taking place. Like you can do your research on your own, but when you get there and are there, then that is even more powerful, and it does give you a new perspective, and it changes your mindset on a whole nother level.
Absolutely. Like the other thing someone mentioned, I saw in the comments, something about the Socratic method. And everybody knows that's me, right? Because what you realize is that, even from a biblical perspective, like Adam didn't learn, he discerned, right? And so if you look at the Aristotle world of forms, it basically says that imprinted on the inside of us is all knowledge. And it's about us asking the right questions to extract that knowledge, right? So a lot of times, right, when we send kids to school, and please don't think I hate education, I love education, but we indoctrinate them, right? So someone is teaching them what to think rather than how to think, right? And so general questions like, how can Christopher Columbus, right, how could he have discovered America? When I was 7, I got in trouble because I was like, somebody was here, right? But that was my question to my teacher. And she told me straight up, she said, if you put something else on the test, you're going to have it wrong, right? So I'm thinking, right? But she's trying to tell me what to think instead of how to think, right? And so we want to try to reverse that, right? We want them to understand that the important thing is not that, it's that how you spell cat, right? C-A-T or K-A-T. Well, C-A-T is grammatically correct, but K-A-T makes more sense if we got them sounding out vowels, right? And consonants, right? So when people be sounding out consonants and then they pronounce it a certain way, we got to start listening to that to understand we got a lot of hypocrisy here. If we say this is what these sounds mean, we can't teach them that, okay, here it sounds this way versus that way. But I hope that makes sense.
Yes, but go ahead, finish that. Go ahead.
Yeah. So, but that's the amazing thing, that in life, right, you find that our problems does not fit any mold. Does that make sense? So we might have similar issues, but because we're different people, right, we might have to take different roads to find the answer. And so what we want them to do is find the road right for them, not follow every step that we give them. We want you to figure it out, because when you're having problems in your marriage, it ain't no one person gonna have the answer, because that's between two people learning how to live together and bond. So you're gonna have to figure that out, right? And if we don't teach them how to figure it out, then now we just gonna make a lot of counselors and stuff rich as our homes break down. So some things in life, you have to be able to ask the right questions. You have to be able to go inside yourself and think for yourself. And that's what we would like for these kids to do. I promise you, I won't say nothing else. Go ahead.
No, you're fine. But it's funny that you say that, because this is back to learning, education, and math. And y'all probably remember this. When you do your math, they would say, show the work.
Exactly.
How you got the answer. And if you didn't show the work the way they taught you, indoctrinated you, then it was wrong.
Right.
Isn't that something? And that is so wild. It's like, this is the answer.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So yes.
Yeah, I said I wasn't gonna. I said I wasn't gonna say anything else, but I lied. All right, but this is the point that I have, right? Because what they don't tell you, when you get above the director level to the VP level to the president and CEO level, you solving problems. Does that make sense? Which means the answer is not in the book. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
You got to figure it out on the run.
Critical thinking.
Exactly. And you have to have a bit of inductive and deductive reasoning. You're going to have to be able to have some fact pattern analysis, looking at this fact lead to that fact and this get to an end. So people don't hire me to answer questions they already know. They hire me to answer stuff they don't know. And so that's what we need our kids to figure out. Like, people, they needed added value in business, right? You need to add value to my life, because I can give you 1,000 wing joints in the hood off of Old National Highway, but I'm killing us if that's all I'm offering you. If I don't offer you no vegetables, if I don't offer you no healthy alternatives, then I might be doing more damage than good.
That's
and though
right.
I'm making money, I'm tearing down the infrastructure of the community.
And you know what? That is something so powerful, because a lot of times people are like, why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? But when you go in, when I go in and I think more about it, I have to weigh the pros and the cons. Like, what am I adding? What's my purpose? Because if it's just to make money, it's temporary.
It's temporary.
If you're not empowering, then that's going to be long, because that's going to be passed on generations and generations and generations, depositing something into someone. And I think that the new 10th Foundation is y'all are on y'all way. Because first of all, for y'all to create this during the pandemic,
right?
You know, you was like, put your mask on and come get educated and empowered. I think that is so important and imperative. And tonight, Nights Over Egypt, we are going to celebrate the students. We are going to raise more money for them with the silent auction. Please, Philana, share the information on the silent auction, how they can participate virtually if they are not in the room at Del Frisco's.
Okay. The link is 32 auctions. Let me see. I'm sorry, 32auctions.com. And I will make sure that I put it in the chat so that you guys can go. You can actually go to our Instagram page, and you can click on the link tree bio, the link tree in the bio, and you will be able to go right straight to the auction link as well. So you can donate there. You can go to the silent auction there, but I think it's 32auctions.com. But let me confirm that. I'm sorry about that.
You're fine. And so also, everyone, please share this with your people. They don't have to be in Georgia. Everybody, if y'all can just share the information about the organization, about the auction, any way you all can support, make a love offering. If you know students that would love to be involved in this program, they don't just have to be in Georgia, correct?
No.
So they can be anywhere. So please share this information. The summertime coming up, y'all know y'all looking for something for y'all babies to do. Is it too late for them to join and go to Egypt?
No, it's not too late. Listen, it's not too late. And also, just so you know, let me add to that. We do offer virtual programming across state lines. So we don't just work with kids here in Atlanta. We work with kids across the state lines. We have kids that are in Florida. We have kids that are in Alabama, in South Carolina. And so when we do our virtual programming, so it's a hybrid situation. So kids come on virtually, and then kids are in the classroom, and then we work together that way. So there is an opportunity for anyone across the state, across the globe, to join the new 10th Foundation. You submit the information the same way, and then we go through the process of vetting, and we make our selections, and then we also open up our programming to the community too. So we don't just do things strictly for our members. We offer programming to kids in the community, families in the community. We have a upcoming event coming up next month too. It's our Rich You Boot Camp. So it's our part of our financial literacy program. The curriculum was written by our very own Mr. Turner. And so that is a program that is open up to the public. And anyone and everyone is open to join us there. And so let me get you this link. It's 32auctions.com.
And while doing that, Philana, Mr. Marcus Turner, please share with us your books that you authored. You have 5 books that you authored.
Right.
This is intrinsic value, but please share those with us.
Right. So the first one is So You Call Yourself a Christian, Really. That was the first book I wrote. And what I wanted to do is to just give a foundation of what actually being a Christian, what is supposed to be about. A lot of times today you have a lot of mixed messages. And I always feel like it's not for one person to judge another, but to really work on the mote that's in their eye, living and practicing principles that are very productive. The next book I wrote was called The Limitless Approach. And what that is, it takes you on a journey of finance from slavery up until where we are today. And the next book I wrote, and it's a very good book, the next book I wrote was Black Doors. Black Doors is an incredible book, especially for African American young people, but a lot of parents really enjoy the book because what it does, it breaks down why you have the advantage and why you're not at a disadvantage, even though the world tries to tell you that you are. And so it goes through this whole idea of what's been created, but how it's all a bit of a matrix, and how things where you are actually, it just gives you your history and it kind of breaks it down the path and what men should be considering, especially what it is to be a man of character, what it is to lead a family, what it is to lead a community. The next book I did was, and I love this book also. This book was Slaves on Horses, Princes on Foot. And what it is showing you that everything, pretty much everything, even in the American society that you are told is really upside down. This came from the Bible. King Solomon said that. He said, this is one of the great tragedies that I see in the earth, is that you got slaves on horses and princes on foot. The prince belong on the horse, but the world is upside down. That's what perversion is and wickedness, right? That's like wicked furniture. It's been twisted, right? So they make you feel like you're not special, but you are the longest surviving human being. You like I like to say it this way: I'm the first man, and I'm going to be the last one, right? And that shows your adaptability. It's not a more adaptable people than us. If you go to Australia, the Aborigines was there. If you go to Asia, the Black Asians was there. If you come to America, right, we was here even prior to the Indians. And you got to go look at your history, right? And so all of these things, we have to start educating our kids, letting them know who they are. Does that make sense? Informing them of their possibilities. In that book, it does that. This next book, my latest book, is really, it's about a young man who is seeking to be wealthy. And it's his journey. Because in order to have true wealth, it emanates from the inside out, right? Which means we truly create through a set of ideas and concepts, right? So in modern society today, the goal is money, but money is the cheapest of all things, right? So if you have a vision, then it's provision for that vision. So you need an idea, you need a concept, and you need to add value. If you learn how to add value, then money will follow. So we have to teach our kids, how do I add value to the community? How do I add value to society? And if they start to add value, they won't have to worry about being a millionaire, being wealthy, that comes with it. And so, and so that's all 5 books. All of them are great reads. The last 3 are every book I write, it gets better and better to me because I just love, just like you said, whether you're looking at Limitless Capital Management or the New 10th Foundation, our goal is to empower. Our goal is to help. I just, and I'm looking for ways of how I can give back to a community who have given so much to me.
Very powerful. So, so your information where to purchase the books is in the chat, and we just put it up. So if you all want to purchase the book, gift someone a book, there you go.
Yeah, and they also on Amazon.
And they won't be disappointed.
Yeah.
Awesome. Zenobia said, empower me. Awesome. And Philana, you now have the information for the website for the silent auction.
Yes, it is 32auctions.com, and you would select the New 10th Foundation and you will see all of the items listed there. So happy bidding to everyone.
Yes. And if we can get that in the chat, that would be wonderful also, and up on the screen. Okay. So yeah, so what is the overall goal for tonight?
Right.
There it is. The overall goal is to introduce to some and share with others all of the great things that their funds and their support has done for our kids, and giving them the opportunity to do things where they may have thought was impossible, how it could be possible. It is to raise funds in support of helping some of those students to make their dream a reality, because we have some students that have not even been outside of their county, let alone their state. And so to be able to afford them the opportunity to get that exposure, to see the world from a different set of lenses, these are the things that we strive to do each and every day. And it's not just about going on a trip. It is more so about learning about your history and getting that exposure, and again, getting a deeper understanding of who you are, even away from your environment that you're in every day.
That's right.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I just said that's right. No, I'm agreeing with you. You continue. I was like, that's right, because you have to get out of your environment, but be able to bring something back.
Yes.
Also.
And it's we have to continue to encourage our kids and give them some positive things to look towards, and let them see that, the sky is not the limit, but there's everything that's afforded to you. And it's not what you can have what you want, it's you can have what you commit to. And so sometimes we have to compete, or we're not competing against the social media. I'm going to say there's the social media and all these things that are out there that kids are looking at. But I believe that our program itself, the information that we provide to our kids, to the parents, is something that is positive, that will give them something to look towards, that is not where it is, and it's obtainable. I'll say it like that. So tonight's goal is to raise funds to help to support and get our kids to Egypt, and allow them an opportunity to see some things they haven't seen, and be able to understand some history behind that.
Awesome. Let me ask you this. So with them going on this trip to Egypt, when they return, do they have to do a book report?
They will do a report. So every time we go on our trips, whether it's local, regional, they have to come back and do a presentation. So they have to, before we go, they're going to make sure they do the research and learn about the facts and the different places that we will be visiting. And so that gives them an opportunity to put the whole idea of the research with the place that we are, and visualize, okay, I read about this and I'm here and I've touched this. So going and coming, they doing research before they go, and when they come back, yes, there is a presentation that has to take place and will be taking place.
That's for real, because my mother used to make us do book reports. When she left us at the movie theater for 4 hours to see Gandhi, and we had to come home and do a book report, she was for real about it. Like, she was really big on that. So very good, very good. Oh, this is so excited. I'm excited for them. I've been to Mali, West Africa. I was there for 6 weeks.
Okay.
Yes.
I've
and you will feel like home. Like Zenobia said, when you get there, you will feel like home.
Yes. I've been to several countries in West Africa. So Liberia, Ghana, Togo, Sierra Leone, Uganda, Cameroon. So a bit of West Africa, Central Africa. So we've taken our kids on to a museum here at the Apex Museum here in Atlanta, and they had a display for the point of no return. It was for the Ghana, the Cape Coast display. And it was interesting to see how the kids went through it. Some of them didn't want to go through that. And I've been there. So to be able to even travel there and take them there, which is something that might be on our bucket list, to take them there and have them experience the whole gamut of around the Cape Coast and the point of no return. It's an experience in itself.
And they actually have I want to say it's called the Blacks and Wax Museum. Katanya, correct me if I'm wrong, in Baltimore, Maryland. And we actually took some youth with a program I was working with in the 90s. We went there, and it's kind of like when you look at the museum, the African American museum that opened in DC. So it's a baby one of those, not to disrespect it. It's small because it takes you through slavery, it takes you through the civil rights, and it was so powerful. I think it was a bit much for some of the youth because they were like under 10 and stuff like that. So it was a bit heavy. So to know that they have, I don't know if they still have it at the Apex, but that would be something to check out because I do plan to go to Ghana and have that experience. Wow, that's powerful.
It is.
Yeah. Last year we took the kids to what was that, September?
When we went to the slave mart, you talking about?
Yes, in Charleston.
Yes.
Yes. Charleston has a lot of history.
Yeah. And we
they
took
said the spirit, the ancestors speak to you there. That's how heavy it is.
Yeah, I mean, some of those dungeons that we was in, and it was funny too, because like we went into some of these dungeons, and so the kids, we had already talked to them about what they should expect. So we get there, and in the dungeons, they got like white prisoners, and so the kids looking at me like, that ain't right, that ain't right. Right. And so again, it's great to be able to have those conversations, because more than a book report, what we do, we have them to do a presentation, which they have to speak on not only what they saw, but what they learned, and then how can they possibly apply it to their life today.
And so,
yeah, exactly. So, and that's big. Just like you said, it's actionable items, right? If I got them dealing with apples, they may not be concerned about apples, but let's say you got Jordans. Let me apply it to Jordans or a new iPhone, and all of a sudden their eyes pop up, right? And so what you start to do, you have to find those triggers within them, that the things that they want, the things that they desire. And then we talk a lot about their heroes. When we talking about entrepreneurship, we might talk about Jay-Z, we might talk about the baby, we might talk about anything that they are connected to, so they can see
and relate
what works and what doesn't. And to look at patterns that are viable, things that does not require you, right? It's only a certain percentage of us that's going to be great rappers, great entertainers, great comedians, or great athletes, right? But it's a vast majority of us, even those great comedians, great actors, great athletes, right? Majority of them has to come back to society and be productive in some way.
That's right.
And so we want to make sure we express that to them.
This has been awesome. And let me just say, today is our 6-month anniversary of I Know Dope People. So the first show we started with Mama Musina and Mama Janice, the first Sunday in Washington, D.C., one place that I would go and get my worship, praise, and spirit rose and risen on, if those are words together. And to have this as our 6-month anniversary show is definitely in alignment with the vision and my purpose. So I thank you both, Philana Swann and Marcus A. Turner of the New 10th Foundation. Y'all are awesome and for real dope people, because anytime we are taking our time and tapping into our youth and just really not just on a whole nother level, and the vision, it's like I started an organization called the Mark Foundation, which is basically the same thing. Take the children out of their environment so they can be able to make better, greater, healthier, wiser choices. Because if they only see what they see every day, that they can only make that choice. They have no other way. They don't know any other way to go. So I think this is definitely so powerful. And because y'all reached out to me too late for me to be a chaperone to go to Egypt. So I'm gonna go ahead and just softly say I'm not gonna be able to go. Just how you look, so they don't hurt my feelings. I'm just gonna let them know I can't go. Yes, I think that is just so awesome and so beautiful that they get to have that experience. So, what is the youngest student's age and the oldest student's age that will be traveling to Egypt?
12 is the youngest, and the oldest is 19.
You know what? Okay, and that they got passports. Okay.
Yeah.
That's just dope. They ready.
Process.
Yes.
They are ready. They are that passport. I'm telling you, it's everything. So that is awesome. Will some of the students be at the event this evening?
Yes.
Yes.
Awesome. Awesome.
Yes,
So
they will.
I can't cuss. Praise God. No, it wasn't.
I love it. I love it. I love it.
That is so awesome. I'm really looking forward to hosting, MCing, uh, performing, cutting up, and just this is a celebration.
Yes, it
Not
is.
just it's a celebration.
It's a celebration.
So congratulations, happy almost 2-year anniversary, and to do that during a pandemic, and I didn't even know it was happening. And I'm so grateful that Martita reached out to me and you reached out to her. See how hands on and all around, we are working it together for the children.
Absolutely.
So, thank you both. Again, it is the new 10th Foundation. If you want to know about the talents in 10th, you can research, and Google got everything for you. Okay, you can look that up. Again, you can participate in the silent auction. What time does the silent auction start tonight?
It's still going on. It's been going on since the 14th of
so
this
it's going
month.
on right now.
It's going on right now. You
Okay.
can go online right now, and it'll continue to go on. We'll continuously have items on there for people to bid on. And again, you can donate on our website. So you can go to www.thenewtenthfoundation.org/donate. And you can donate to our program and our kids for the trip, for to continue to help sustain our programming. All of that is there.
So let me ask you this: what are some of the items that are being auctioned today?
So we have actually, I'll start with Limitless Capital Management. We'll be providing consultation services. We have some African art out there. We have transportations, I would say car detailing services. We have spa services, beauty services. We have men's upscale attire. We have a 20-person suite for a minor league baseball team. We have a handbag. We have, am I missing something? Did I capture everything?
Well, we have a custom clother here in Buckhead that gave us a nice a nice gift package, a gift card there.
Awesome.
Even when you're looking at a lot of the services, you got to go and read. So go there and take a look, because the services are quite impressive.
Very good. I think this is so amazing. I'm so looking forward to being there this evening. Again, I appreciate you all for trusting me to host, MC, and perform at your awesome Nights Over Egypt event.
Yeah,
I'm gonna put on my good shoe.
Okay.
Come on through. Okay. So again, if y'all want to because it's sold out, if y'all just want to come to Del Frisco's and just wave at us as we walk in and out, it's in Dunwoody, Georgia. Y'all can make that happen too. All right. Yes. Thank you so much again, Philana. You want to say something, Philana?
Yes, I want to tell you congratulations on your 6-year anniversary.
6 months. 6 months.
6 months. I'm sorry.
Getting there.
6-month anniversary. Thank you for having us on your show. And you are dope too.
Thank you. I receive it. Thank you both so much, Philana and Marcus. I appreciate you all. I will see you both this evening. I appreciate you all again for supporting. I know dope people. Thank you all for watching again. Yes, this is our 6-month anniversary. Big shout out to my homegirl, my sister friend, Katanya Lester. Also to my girl, Celeste Den, who sits in for Katanya. Celeste, actually, she produced the first episode of I Know Dope People. So thank you all for all the continuous support. If you all did not watch this in live and real time, it's still good information. And if you're watching right now, live, share with somebody else. Go to Queen Aishah on YouTube, my Facebook channels, my IG page. And Philana, you asked me about my TikTok page. This is not going to be on TikTok, but my TikTok channel is Queen Aishah. I am.
Got it.
Thank you all so much for watching. Peace and blessings. Have a great day.
All right. Have a great day.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Thank Thank you again for watching. I know dope people. Katanya, she ain't gonna come on screen. We got 6 months in. Katanya. Thank you for your push, girl. Thank you, Celeste, for y'all showing up and making me look kind of good and sound good. Peace and power. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share. Queen Aishah on YouTube. Peace and blessings.